This week, CNBC Africa special, on the sidelines of the Rwanda-Zimbabwe Business Forum, we bring you a discussion on enhancing business linkages between Rwanda and Zimbabwe. Meet our panelists.
I want to start with Mrs. Jeanne, and I want to get from your experience working with the private sector as the acting chairperson of the Rwanda Private Sector Federation. What are some of the key sectors that offer the most promising investment opportunities for the Zimbabwean countries that are present in the room today that they can take advantage of today?
Thank you, Lydia. I'm first very happy to be here today and to meet with our Zimbabwean brothers and sisters, and to be able also to exchange in regard of future opportunities and future business we can do together. So as a private sector player, we have heard about different sectors that are of opportunities for us in terms of businesses development. We have heard about energy sector, we have heard about mining, we have heard about tourism. I want to highlight three sectors that I think can be of priority in terms of opportunities for our counterpart in Zimbabwe, company in Zimbabwe to come and identify in our country in Rwanda. So I will start with the agriculture sector, where I think there is a very high potential in terms of developing the potential we have in different areas, but we'll start with the high value crops that are of a very good opportunity, where we think we can leverage the fact that we have a small country, but have an opportunity to develop that part of agriculture. The high-value crops is one of the priority of the country, and the government has put different incentives to attract investors in that area in terms of infrastructures that have been developed, incentives in terms of exporting those products. And I think Zimbabwe has a very good advantage in when we talk about agriculture. Many skills and knowledge have been developed, and this is something that we really look at of partnering with our counterparts in Zimbabwe. There is also the seed development. Our seed sector is still new and is still very young, and but represent a huge opportunity in terms of giving the capacity to Rwanda to be independent in terms of having available good seeds. And we know that Zimbabwe has a huge advance in terms of seed development, where we have seen, for example, in maize, the seeds that are developed in Zimbabwe gives a production of more than 10 tons per hectare, and we here in Rwanda we are still between 3 and 4. So we have. We think that this is a very good opportunity for Zimbabwean companies to come and leverage that experience they have, but also for us to partner with them in terms of advancing our expertise in this. We can also talk about the agro-processing. Agro-processing, we have a very good advantage of being positioned as a hub for us to export products in the region, and this can be leveraged in terms of developing industries, and agro-processing can be one of them. And for Zimbabwean companies and who are in agriculture, it's an opportunity also to export their production through a well-established industry here, and being able to partner with Rwandese to transform and give an added value to their products and then export to the region. I will talk also about mining. It has been mentioned by the CEO of RDB. Our mining industry is still young. We have a lot to learn from you. In Zimbabwe, we have a lot to share. We need your skills, we need your knowledge, and we have local investors who have already started exploration studies, exploration mining, and they need strategic partners with tangible knowledge, with tangible expertise. And we have also a very good advantage of having a facility to get access to market. So this is also another sector. And I will talk also about services. In terms of services, Rwanda, we are positioning as very strongly in terms of developing services and exporting our services. And here, I think in Zimbabwe, you have also that focus on making sure that developed services are very competitive, and we can have a strong partnership on that area as well.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Jean. So agriculture, mining, and specifically, most especially agriculture and seed development, agro processing, those are some of the opportunities that are available that the people can utilize today. But building off of that, since we are facilitating and enhancing our collaborations, I would like to get to you, Mr. Never. How do you think ZIDA is facilitating the public-private partnerships that can drive investment for the two countries of Rwanda as well as Zimbabwe? Building off of what we've said, the opportunities that are available, but we know we cannot build it just as the private sector, but we also need the private sector as well as other players. So how does ZIDA, your organization, go about facilitating these initiatives?
Thank you, Lydia. Good morning. It is a pleasure for me to be here and engaging in this conversation. By nature, Triple P is an understanding that there is a need for people of different expertise and capabilities coming together for the common good of productivity, enhance the service level delivery within the economy. So in Zimbabwe, for example, we have seen quite a lot of public-private partnership coming up and enhancing production, whether in mining, in agriculture, service delivery. So surely this is a very important tool that most government can use to harness the participation of the private sector, because it would then help government to release the much needed capital into other social areas of the economy. So for ZIDA, our most critical role in making sure that we have functional Triple Ps is always to have a clear governance framework. So for us, we are using the ZIDA Act, which is read together with the regulations that were gazetted sometime last year. So these two pieces of legislation, they clearly spell out what is the requirements for somebody to join government or any other ministry, department, or agents of government in Triple P. So our role as ZIDA now is to make sure that these regulations and legislation are always as clear as they should be, to facilitate the ease of those very important partnership. So the importance of having these clear regulations is that when potential private players visit Zimbabwe and they want to explore Triple Ps, we should be able as ZIDA to articulate in no hidden manner what is required, what is the process, how long does it take, and how does it get approved, and at what level does it get to be approved. The other role that we play, Lydia, is that we must know the opportunities for these Triple Ps within government and all the other MDAs, ministries, departments, and agencies. So the role of ZIDA is always to engage these government entities and say, what do you have? What is it that you may want to be partner? Then we profile, we package these opportunities such that government is aware of the value for money. They are aware of what are they putting in or on the table for the private player to come in and with their expertise. So our role is always to make sure that we have the right profiled, packaged opportunities. So once the two parties are starting to form an agreement, it is ZIDA's role now to guide them through the government processes. There is what we call the Triple P Committee, which is made up of permanent secretaries from different ministries. So ZIDA will do a report of the relationship, take it up to that committee, and the committee will deliberate on that. Should they say they are happy, it means now they are recommending to cabinet for approval. But we don't stop there. Once this agreement has got cabinet approval, it is the role of ZIDA now to make sure that the relationship is established as quickly as is possible. So we handhold you to make sure that your business or the relationship starts to function. And one of our last roles that we play is monitoring and evaluation. This is very critical. You want to track how is the relationship working, what challenges are they facing, what solutions are we providing, is there need to go back to the approving authority to seek for waivers in order to continue to strengthen the relationship. But on top of that, you also want to measure the impact of that relationship on the economy. How many jobs have been created? You were talking about employment. What is the quality of those jobs? What is the impact of the project on the society? We look at it from many facets so that we can feed back to government or the public to say, this is how the Triple Ps are impacting on the economy and social in general. So that at least they are able to continuously fine-tune how to enter into future relationships. So for Triple Ps, ZIDA is playing a very pivotal role, and we are always out there to scan for relationship. I can tell you that those interested in partnering government in various activities, we do have different opportunities for Triple P, be it mining, agriculture, manufacturing, that are available, that we are able to unpack and have conversation with yourselves. Let me submit at this point. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Neva. It's been wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. That's very generous. This is very insightful because when you talk about being the Triple Ps being effective, clear governance is really key, and then having someone to showcase and package what opportunities are there is also an effective way of doing business, and then being able to count the impact that has been made also ties into the effective means of really advancing business. I really appreciate your insights on that. I would like to welcome to the conversation Dr. Alex, the Chief Technical Advisor at Minicom. There are so many, after talking about these partnerships, but partnerships as well come as well in they involve agreements. I want to understand from the ministry, what trade promotion initiatives and agreements are you guys having that are facilitating the trade between Rwanda and Zimbabwe currently?
Thank you very much, and I'm delighted also to be here on the panel to engage the discussions. It's good to start talking about the MOU between the two countries, when already you can hear at least some achievement in the last almost 2 years of this assignment. When you go back and you see what my counterparts have been saying, it's already more than what you can say about this. But let me just recall to those who may be not aware about the agreements, on the side of these two stand-up efforts between the countries, we are having this an MOU on the economic and trade investment cooperation between the two countries that was signed on 29th March 2022. It's almost some cap of the 2 or 3 years over the implementation. This has been highlighted, the identified of areas of the cooperations, and some of my colleagues have been saying, but I can just recall some of them for the purpose of just sharing where this area of the focus for the cooperation, in particular for those who are engaged in the sectors, can take and pick this as the priorities for this MOU. We've identifying agriculture, of course, and of course, by saying these areas of the cooperation, one thing that should keep in our mind is two countries are having some similarities. They're both landlocked countries. Mm-hmm. So, and they are not in neighboring countries. Of course, there is some distance. Mm-hmm. But if the two countries stand up and join for the efforts to increase the cooperation, there might be something that requires just to be structured by not only that, but also the commitment of the countries. Mm-hmm. Sectors including the agro-processing, including the agriculture, where we know that both our populations are much depending on the food that's producing between our countries. But of course, as you have seen in the videos, both countries are having opportunities. But when you look at the other side, Zimbabwe, much is said as statistics of what we are buying from there. But also, this is very much important when you look at the standard, the priorities for a country to grow for the industry, look competitiveness of our local industries, in particular agro-processing, that the area of the cooperation, the people through the think about this cooperation. Mm-hmm. They have said also about mining, they have said about the transportation, both road and the air, where now we are having some good tangible in air transportation between the two countries. We are having also tourism as a sector to explore between the two countries. Mm-hmm. We are having communication technology between the countries. We are having the other sectors, including textile. We are having also the MSMEs development. Those are some like just to list a few where the areas of the cooperation in this MOU has been highlighted. But also in addition to that, this MOU has this provision of setting up a joint economic commission that we are having that should be in charge of the implementation, because the MOU is there, but implementation is another thing that we have to monitor both countries. And this commission is composed of the experts from those two countries, mm-hmm. where at least one or every year they can sit and assess at least the progress of this implementation. It's good that this one we are having, but I can highlight also during that this implementation through the Ministry of Trade and Industry here in Rwanda, and also the Zim Trade in Zambia, we are having something to share. And I think some of us here in the audience, maybe if they have been attending, mm-hmm. through of this joint promotion trade activities. I know that those who are participating on an annual basis exhibition, we have some of the companies who are attending the exhibition here in Rwanda. And we are very happy to see them here. And that is the thing that has been starting and booming and showing that at least is growing, because before the CMOU, I don't think that was the chance to be in place. But this time, we see on both sides as well, from Rwanda to Zambia, to participate in this trade joint promotion activities. I can submit here maybe. If I have a time, I can come back on the topics for the details.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alex. Thank you. That has been very insightful. So the MOU is ready, and what needs now is the implementation. So to the business people who are available, you've heard about the opportunities that this MOU provides in the different sectors. And I'll return to agriculture, because this is one of the backbones for the two countries. And it is really, really important that had we not had a cup of meals back then, maybe we wouldn't be seeing properly or sitting properly right here. But I would like to pass the mic on to Mr. Isaiah Clever. We're going to dive into your experience around the agriculture sector. It has been mentioned a couple of times that this is one of the promising sectors that people can invest in for the both countries. I want you to tell us some of the ways that you envision the agriculture sector playing a role in advancing the economic prosperity of these two countries, Zimbabwe and Rwanda.
Thank you, Lydia. I think it's always good to be back again. I was here in 2021, and I'm happy with the progress that has been made so far.
Welcome back.
In terms of implementation of the particular MOU that was signed then. But maybe just to give context in terms of importance of agriculture to the two countries, I think what we must first acknowledge is its importance in terms of the livelihoods that it supports. I think in Rwanda, we're looking at around 70% that are being supported through the agriculture ecosystem. When you look at Zimbabwe, I think we can draw parallels, because as Zimbabwe also an agro-based economy, where 60% of our population is dependent on agriculture. So from that perspective, you see that agriculture plays an important role in terms of supporting development of the two economies. Mm-hmm. When you look at contribution to GDP again, it also emphasizes that importance for both Rwanda and Zimbabwe. So it does play an important role. But coming back to, I think, the MOU that was signed, I think it's very clear in terms of the areas that we need to look at. For Zimbabwe, our blueprint for agriculture is the Agriculture Food Systems Transformation Strategy, which has got 6 outcomes in terms of what it aims to achieve as we pursue our 2030 vision. I think number 1 is improvement of livelihoods, which is an important aspect for both countries. Export growth, we've been talking of export growth here. It's also an area that we are pursuing aggressively within the Zimbabwean agriculture context. You look at value addition and beneficiation, I think we're talking of agro-processing. What you find is that I think in most African countries at the moment, we do tend to export a lot of value in terms of raw materials. So there's also need to enhance earnings for our farmers, particularly those that are marginalized, the smallholder farmers. So we need to look at value addition at that level as we go upstream, because that's where the value is. So that particular blueprint is also looking at those areas, and I'm happy to say between Rwanda and Zimbabwe, we're also talking on value addition and beneficiation, specifically focusing on agro-processing hubs, because we do produce quite a lot in that aspect. So coming back to the MOU, my colleague talked about seed development. I think she mentioned that for maize production, we're looking at 10 tons. I would want to correct her slightly that our yields have gone beyond 10. We've got varieties that can give you up to 20 tons per hectare from maize. So I think there's some learnings that we can also exchange in terms of what varieties are ideal for the Rwanda agroecological zone. So there's, I think, a lot that we can look at in that front. On fruits and vegetables, there are also some programs that are already happening between Rwanda and Zimbabwe, particularly within the chilies value chain. I know of Rwandan companies that are supporting outgrower schemes in Zimbabwe today to produce chilies for the export markets, particularly China and some European countries. So we need to build on that momentum. Another value chain to also look at is within the dairy, beef, and poultry production. I know that there's some Zimbabwean-based companies that are into poultry here in Rwanda. So it's also an area that we can look at. On beef production, we are proud of the beef that we produce in Zimbabwe because of its quality. And I also know that the Rwanda beef is also good. There's a lot that we can also capitalize on in terms of export opportunities that are existent, especially in the UAE market, where we've seen quite a lot of interest for our beef products. You also note that another area that we also need to look at, which is in the MOU, is the provision to produce cereals for both countries. Zimbabwe, we're looking at arable land, I think it's just over 4 million hectares. When you look at Rwanda, I think we're talking of around 1.2 million hectares arable. So already that gives us an opportunity to look at strategic grains, especially now when you're talking of food security, because it's also very important that the two countries are food secure. So one of our primary objectives as Zimbabwe is to make sure that we don't have to import what we can produce locally. So we are focusing on that area to ensure that we've got enough maize, enough wheat, enough soya that is being produced locally. So given the fact that we've got the land, we've got the climate to support production for both food crops, cash crops, and livestock, we need to be food secure in that regard. But I think more importantly, what the world has taught us is that I think as countries we need to be food secure. The situation, the geopolitical situation between Ukraine and Russia disturbed the food supply, global food supply system. So that alone is an indicator to say we need to be food secure, because most countries were also relying on imports, especially for wheat, from Ukraine and Russia. And because of that, we started to note some shortages in terms of wheat supply. But for Zimbabwe, I think for 2023, it was a record year for us in terms of wheat production. We managed to produce everything that we need to feed ourselves in terms of wheat requirements, where we produced 380,000 metric tons of wheat. And we're in a position to also export the same. So those are some of the areas which I think if we then focus on, we can come up with a very clear action plan in terms of what needs to be done. I think some of the implementing agencies, government departments are represented in this room. So what's left is just to action on that. So let me end here for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's been a lovely time discussing with you. Please give them a round of applause as they take their seats. Thank you very much.